hovering over the Senior Citizen Complex, the Ontario Senior Center, and the Ontario City Hall, doing so at 5:22 p.m. 5:22 a.m. Doing so as this is published on the internet, whereas I showed you yesterday, pursuant to the ongoing sexual relationship between the cult members Tracy Banks and Jason Fields, and the entity engages in what is stalking me in real time while they monitor my evidence about their co-defendants that are actively engaging in a sexual relationship, which is factually relevant. It is a question of fact regarding who the gang members that are monitoring me have contracted HIV from, because this entity that is gang stalking me has defamed my character. That includes Tracy Banks and Jason Fields. Pursuant to that same pattern, speaking to federal stalking on the video of the internet, the entity is at 5:22 in the morning stalking me, and doing so while I am publishing the evidence of the entity gang stalking me, which is what you see here. As I publish this right here, you can see the moment that I publish it, the plane activity sounds. This is lying in wait behavior. A stalker is already present. Not only stalking, but this is exceeding stalking, which is what I'm publishing on X. And it's also occurring outside of what is even published on the internet. While these demons are monitoring, they are monitoring in real time. There are no flights scheduled. You're also not headed to a destination. This has nothing to do with the operations of the airport. While the entity maintains flights from the gates, from terminals at published times, anticipated times, while the entity is not engaging in any takeoff miles away from the airport. There's no takeoff over here. You are hovering, and there's also no takeoff when you're doing flights and cartwheels. And you'll pay attention to my evidence. The mentally ill, and that is the psychopathic and obsessive tendencies that are being documented with regard to the entity that's going to be committed. They engage in admissions as I speak to, and as you witness what is clearly a matter of judicial notice. There are no takeoffs that are taking off that are occurring over the Ontario Senior Center over this location. This is already understood, a judicially noticed fact, which is controlling. It is already evidence we already understand. In other words, the entity is targeting by virtue of planes hovering in this location. Not only that, the entity engages in more concessions while they then, in real time, monitoring the evidence, engage in cartwheels and planes, which is also relevant to a judicially noticed fact. You're not headed to a destination when you're doing flights that are including what are being over this location. You're targeting, and then you're doing a cartwheel while you come in my presence, and you're doing so as I am proven, which is obvious that you're not engaging in anything other than what is targeting by virtue of being in this location. The entity is doing so while there are published which have nothing to do with what the Ontario International Airport is reflecting. This is why the entity is keeping my internet activity under surveillance regarding what is published online in real time. This is the entity that is engaging in that, and this is an ongoing concession regarding what I published yesterday. Tracy Banks and Jason Fields are cult members who have conspired my murder, who are gang stalking organizers, and they remain engaged in a real-time 2026 current sexual relationship. And this is the entity that has defamed my character and brought me into what is their bedroom, down in some basement and some lodge where these cult members have sex with each other. They worship Satan, and then they engage in criminal activities such as stalking me, as what I'm showing the U.S. military engaging in, and they've infected each other with HIV. And this entity has defamed my character. While I published this on the internet yesterday, the entity engaged in that ongoing exposition regarding what is also criminal and mentally ill under the fake sun, which was stalking by planes, stalking by the city of Ontario, committing a battery, stalking by the entity that then engaged in molesting me with impossible light activity. While I'm addressing what it is that they are engaging in, defaming my character, while I have nothing to do with their sexual activity, which they use to worship me and then engage in stalking me, which is what the entity is doing, using the people of the state that are providing commercial airline planes. And the people of the state, the commercial airline companies, are being federally prosecuted, while the U.S. military uses their planes as evidence of criminal monitoring, which is occurring with the people of the state, including those that are stalking the path. And that's what this is, stalking in the path. This is the entity that is not asleep while you are present in the environment. These are demons that are monitoring. Okay, this is P.O.C. It is currently 5:27 a.m.